welcome to this episode of Retinal Realities, brought to you by Retina South Africa, supported by Roche Products, and hosted today by Gavin. Gavin himself has a very impressive sports history. He is a Paralympic bronze medalist for track cycling. He's a bronze medalist for para-rowing at the Para-Rowing World Championships in 2013. And he has been a para-triathlete since September 2017. We are approaching the season for some very popular cycle races. And as we prepare for these, Gavin is here to chat to Joel, who has visual impairment and who participated in the 62-kilometer Dis-Chem Ride for Sight 2024.
Hey, Joel, how's it going? And it's good to chat to you, and we look forward to the information and the podcast we're going to discuss about your cycling journey and the Ride for Sight.
Hi, Gavin, and it's good to talk to you today, and it will be very nice to inform others who are partially sighted like me and how to get some motivation.
Great. Well, so obviously we're going to ask you some questions about your sight impairment and your journey. So let's get started. Do you want to briefly explain to us your sight condition, maybe when it came about and how it affects your life?
Okay. It came about when I was basically born, and then at 1.5 years old, I had an operation to remove an astigmatism I had, which also has affected my vision in that I am literally, without glasses, blind.
Well, I know what that feels like, so you're not alone, buddy.
Yeah.
Okay. And so obviously you enjoy sport, and you and I, we go back many, many years, back to the old beginning Ride for Sight days. So, you know, how did you get into cycling, and how has it positively impacted your life?
Okay. Well, when I was still at primary school and I got involved in cycling, I was first introduced to provincial swimming and then also athletics. And from there, it went to fourth, and I started riding a bicycle. And from that, I've managed to do a lot better. And it's been very positive in my life to be able to cycle and then also compete at provincial and sometimes international level as well.
And then, you know, you've been riding for quite a few years. I'm trying to think back to early 2000s when we first met each other. So what's your preparation like leading up to an event like the Ride for Sight, which I know you've done quite a few times over the years?
My preparation is with in particular cycling races like the Ride for Sight. I train quite often and then communicate with my tandem pilot, he's been my pilot for 8 years now. And because of all of that, we try and communicate when we're doing bicycle rides.
Yeah, I'm sure like your rhythm, and when you're coming up to a climb or something, he sort of gives you some cues or verbal cues just to prepare you for what's coming up.
Yes, that's correct. And that is what I've been trying to say when I started hiccuping or stuttering.
I was helping you there.
Yeah.
Okay. And so part of your training in the week, would you go to the gym? Do you do some indoor training sessions? And then obviously on weekends, you try and ride the tandem as much as you can.
Yes. And then also with me during the week, I'll go into the gym and I'll get into the pool. Otherwise, I'll go for aquatherapy once a week, or I'm sitting on my indoor trainer at home, cycling on Zwift or My Wish.
Okay. And you obviously, with the training you've done, you can confirm that consistency is probably your biggest weapon, right?
Yes.
Okay, that's good. All right. And so we've got probably about 10 weeks till Ride for Sight. How many of those weeks are you going to try and spend on the tandem and just getting to know your partner a bit more? Because he's obviously quite an integral part of you having a safe ride, with like knowing the route and, you know, just helping you get through the race with as little problem as possible.
Well, my partner and me have been involved with each other for 8 years in total this year. And we literally will try and communicate on the tandem. He'll point out where there are bumps, when there's a tree and a branch overhanging, because otherwise, like the one time, I got hit in the face when there was no communication by a tree branch.
Okay. Okay. Well, my partner luckily hasn't done that to me yet, so we're still friends. Okay, and then let's talk about race day a little bit. Have you got a bit of a race plan that you want to follow? How's your nutrition looking for the race day?
Well, with the nutrition, I'll start a week ahead and I'll try and do a bit of carbo loading. And then on the night before, I'll do and have pasta to eat before. And then on the morning of the race, I'll eat breakfast like a bowl of oats and a banana. And then during the race, while we're riding, try and take in as much, like every hour, fluids. Also, every once in a while, have an energy bar or something to eat. And then just carry on like that through the race.
And are you going to tell me your race plan and tell me where you're going to attack me, or are you going to leave it a secret for race day?
I think I'd rather just leave it a secret for race day. Otherwise, you're just going to attack me when you want to.
Oh boy, I know your tactics. We've known each other for a long time.
Yeah, I know that.
And then there's a couple questions left, but on around the race, what sort of emotions do you feel? Obviously, we're thinking a bit closer to the event, but like, you get nervous, or are you happy, or are you excited to do the event?
Before the event and on the morning of the event, I'll get quite nervous, and then I'll listen to music while I'm out in the car and in the race pen to calm myself down.
And then in the race, do you do anything to like stay focused? You know, because there's a lot of noises. There's tires screaming and gears changing, and people shouting and chit chatting with each other. Does that bother you, or does it kind of add to the gears of the event?
I find it's actually part of the whole vibe when it comes to the event. And then also I'll try and ignore pretty much, or my partner will tell me that there's a car in front of us and I shouldn't really get a fright when we go past them.
Okay. Yeah, I suppose you need to be quite present in a race just to have all your wits about you.
Yes, that is correct.
Okay, and then, you've been cycling for quite a while, like I've mentioned. Have you got any memorable moments from the Ride for Sight in particular that stand out for you?
Well, one particular Ride for Sight memory I have, in which my partner or pilot wasn't able to ride that year with me. I rode with my father, and then the two of us were able to win the category 4, the visually impaired, together.
Oh, wow, that's incredible. Well done, man. And then the second last question that I have for you is, what inspired you to ride the Ride for Sight, like to actually participate there?
Yeah, well, what inspired me actually was the whole process in which there were friends of mine who were riding, and they were quite nervous and apprehensive of doing the Ride for Sight, and they were looking at some form of motivation to do it. And because of my visual impairment and me being able to cycle for quite a while, I managed to give them the motivation to take part in the event.
And I'm sure all the times you have participated, you've spoken to many, many people who have taken inspiration without you even knowing. And I'm sure they started cycling if they hadn't already been riding.
Yes, that is correct. And one person I can think of in particular, who I hardly ever see anymore, has gone across to Europe, and he's still cycling right now.
That's fantastic, man. And then my last question before we wrap this all up is, we obviously want cycling to continue in South Africa because we love the sport so much. So what are your future goals with Ride for Sight and maybe any other events you're going to take part in?
Well, future goals would be to do the Ride for Sight again, and then also to motivate people to ride, and also to help raise funds for a neurological trust which treats people who are unfortunately not able to afford therapy like physio, speech therapy, biokinetics.
Okay, yeah, I believe that physical activity goes much further along than just riding the bike. There's so many other benefits that you can get from it. I think that is probably all the questions that we need to cover. But we're sportsmen, so we try and encourage people to obviously take up cycling, and then we also want to encourage people to try out other sports that Retina are trying to drive and get people interested in, like golf or bowls or triathlon. There's so many things out there for visually impaired to try that we don't even know about. So we invite people to get hold of us if possible. Tell us what sports they might be involved in. If it's blind cricket, even, we've tried all of them, and just let us know what their journeys are like and see if we can encourage more participation.
Thank you so much to both of you. You are both truly inspirational. And having met you both, I can tell you I look forward to working with you at different events like the Ride for Sight for many years to come. If anybody would like to contact us, as Gavin has said, you can contact us at Retina South Africa. Our email address is headoffice@retinasa.org.za. And finally, of course, a huge thank you once again to our sponsors, Roche Products. And remember to subscribe to the series by clicking on the subscribe button on this page. This will help to keep this very popular series going. All our podcasts are available on www.retinasa.org.za under the tab Learn. Thank you.